It's Tuesday night and it's Christmas Eve. So all you degenerates are hanging out with me and the Rops, who are going to be coming up very soon. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. That's Cool Drink. Man, fresh off of the Christmas tree drags. Absolutely off the chain. So much fun. The Charlie Brown car that ended up winning was a 209-mile-an-hour car with a 6-foot Christmas tree that was lit on it all the way down the racetrack. They had jet cars that they had Christmas trees behind them and lit them on fire. So many cool things. It was absolutely off the chain. I was Adam the Elf, and yeah, it was awesome. A lot of people were like, well, yeah, but you were an elf. And I was like, yeah, but they paid me to get in the front gate and you paid money to get in the front gate. So that's cool. Haha. Dude, so cool. Freaking awesome. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to everybody that's hanging out there. I've got the Vice Grip Garage Christmas tree ugly sweater and the Tin Soldier's hat in honor of that awesome Charlie Brown car. Jason Terrell was behind the wheels of that thing, and he was awesome at the top end interviews for the last couple of rounds. That dude was more excited than anybody in that whole entire place, and he was driving a 4-door car with a Christmas tree on top. So, and I don't think they were racing for even a ton of money, but it was a sold out crowd, and it was absolutely awesome. And Garrett throws a hell of a show. So if you are in stone's throw of Bradenton, get out and see some of the stuff he's got coming up. Yeah, that dude's a banger, and we'll be talking a little bit about that too. The Rops have competed in some of their stuff as well. So you know, with stuff like that, that was super cool to run into them. I kind of heard they were coming. I didn't know they were coming with a car, and they just showed up with this GTO, and they're like, "Yeah, we just drove this down here, and you know, and did the thing, and did it right after a buddy of theirs got killed. So did that with that sticker on the back, and Cleet even talked to him a little bit right through the window about it. It was really pretty neat. So you can do whatever shots you want. I got Coors Heavy all night long. Here we go. Anyway, super duper cool. Can't believe I got to do that. Absolutely amazing. And you know, can't believe I get to do this for a living. Coming up next is Sick Week. I've got a little bit of time off. So end of January, I will be down doing Sick Week. The Rops did 666, and we're going to talk to them about that as well. So they're well-rounded, these folks, and they do stuff like go to ice cream cruise and win ice cream trophies and stuff. So yeah, this one's going to be absolutely sweet. The Rops the Rops eye. We're going to see about how many multiple Rops, what that sounds like. I can't wait to see you there either, Mr. Trevor. It's going to be awesome with the GTR coming down. So very, very cool. But guys, here we go. Tuesday night. Let's kick it off. We're doing burnouts. We're doing all sorts of stuff. They rearranged all sorts of stuff in my control panel over here, and let's get it going here. Lovely Christmas Eve with the Rops, drag and drive, kind of power couple action, 2 cars, bringing the kids, having fun, and then a little bit of dose of burnouts on top, and blowing up pistons. Here we go. Tonight's going to be awesome. Bang. Holly and Alex.
How's it going?
And these guys took the eggnog seriously, and they actually have eggnog.
Of course, oh, yeah, Southern Comfort eggnog.
We even have our Christmas mugs.
Christmas mugs, eggnog, Christmas tree, race week shirt. That's cool. You guys are awesome. Thanks for being on Christmas Eve, and thanks to everyone for watching Christmas Eve, man. So many of you out there partying with us here on a Christmas Eve night. It is so festive. Everyone is so festive. It's absolutely awesome. Stevie's hand is actually going to sneak in here with McDonald's for me because I ran out of time. I had to go to the store because I forgot to go to the store earlier to get stuff for dinner for tomorrow. And that was a madhouse. And I was like, I'm not cooking food. Like, screw it. I'm going to get ready for this. And so I'll be eating a little bit in this. Sorry.
That's
okay.
Well, you're welcome. McDouble and a McChicken. And I got 4 beers. So let's get it on, man. But Dirty Panda, dude. Hell yeah. Thanks for tuning in, dude. But welcome to That's Cool Drink, you guys. And it was super cool to run into you guys at PRI and rap for a little bit. And yeah, like just kind of catch up on some of your stuff. But for those that don't know, give us a rundown. Who are you? What do you have? What do you drive currently? And then we're going to dive back further. But like, let's start with Holly. It's time. You've said 4 words so far. So the floor is yours, young lady.
Sure. So right now I drive a 2016 Chevy SS I call Artemis. I've blown it up a lot, but currently it's rocking a 408 stroker from Thompson Motorsports, 2650 from Boost District, and looking to run 10-0 class this year at Mega Week, so that should be fun.
Cool. Nice. Is this the same motor? This is an old photo. Is this the same motor that you bought on Race Week?
Correct. It is the same one that we got on Race Week when we spun the number 6 Strawberry.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yeah. So if you guys don't know, both Holly and Alex blew their cars up, car/truck, and they fought their asses off. The initial plan was let's fix Alex's, and then it was like, oh no, let's fix Holly's.
Yeah,
because that's not going to be a feasible thing. And I mean, you were money into a bad motor,
yeah,
and then money into a really good motor. Which, if anyone's, I mean, you've got the internet, you can, it's not like you walked in and you were like, hey, can we get a discount? They were like, no, we've got one on the shelf though.
Right.
You can have it now. So
yeah, we didn't really ask for a discount, but they did hook us up a little bit.
They did give a Race Week deal, so that was
good.
Nice.
Good. That's awesome. That's awesome. So unfortunately, you guys you're good at killing the stuff. Holly even caught the thing on fire once, and
I caught mine on fire.
You caught yours on fire. That's right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she's caught hers on fire too, but
right.
But no, mine caught on fire, and it was funny.
Yours caught on
like it was real fire. Close. Right at the top, you can actually see the dipstick just above the car there, about 3 foot over it.
Yep, like just to the left of the flame there.
Yep.
Kind of middle of the screen.
Whitty there taking the picture has an absolutely killer shot of that.
Hell yes. And that's that was my first Freedom 500 kind of debut with those guys. I was able to finish my year with those guys. So hopefully 2025 is filled with me running into you in Florida again. Yeah. Because that was wild. Like, I had no idea. Like, I had met you guys on Race Week in Artemis. But then the first time I really had kind of like hung out with Alex was when you brought like this thing down. And I mean hung out as in like we got more than 6 seconds to talk.
Yeah. Well, and the plan with that was definitely like, it's kind of funny. I know you said we drove it down, but it was a little different than that. I actually had it on a trailer, but the owner of Skids for Kids, Andrew Angeli, he said he had troubles with his tow rig and he wasn't going to go. And I said, well, we can't have Skids for Kids without the guy who owns it or the guy who runs it.
Right.
Swung through Springfield, and he drove the GTO down while we towed his truck.
Okay. All right.
So I actually broke the rear end in Florida. but he still drove it 1,200 miles back. We didn't know the rear end was broke till I got home. So,
Hell yes.
it was interesting. It didn't make turns very good.
Right. I'm sure. It's like, what the hell is there? Something weird going on back here.
It was basically, it broke all the spider gears, but I guess the GTO's carrier doesn't have any openings in it, so it just kind of broke all the spider gears, and they just kind of jammed together.
Just locked them up, pretty much, probably.
It worked out okay to drive it home, I guess. But
yeah, screw it. Just you're straight most of the time, so
yeah.
No big deal.
So yeah, I mean that weekend, the GTO got 2,500 miles and a minute and a half long burnout and catching on fire at the end.
Yeah. There's me and you and Garrett right there. And, whatever, a snapshot of a totally sold out burnout show.
And you can tell how many times the card caught on fire before, because I didn't even get out when they told me it was on fire.
Yeah. No, it was sweet as hell.
That little 5.3, that thing lived for over a year and a half, just off the limiter everywhere I went with it. And when I finally pulled it out because I melted the piston, I found out it had 8 bent rods and was still running.
Oh, hell yeah.
So
yeah, we call that thing the stepchild because it gets no love and just gets abused.
That's it. It's got a $300 6-liter in it right now.
Yeah.
Perfect. Those are the best ones. My
so good.
My $410 4.8 that I had in my Malibu was the gangsterest freaking motor until I froze it and froze the block, and then it's worthless. So, but yeah, that thing was like hero 7,500 off the limiter, just smashing gears, with that meat grinder blower, that Magnuson blower on the top.
Oh,
you guys know you're fully aware of the blower.
We like our PD blowers, that's for sure.
Absolutely. So I gotta let's go all the way back to the beginning.
Yep.
Holly, I snuck around a little bit. Like you're like 12 years old and a manager at O'Reilly's. So did Alex get you into cars, or were you already sort of like a car chick before you guys met?
No, I loved cars growing up. If I could help my dad in the shop in anything, I would be out there. My first love was a 1979 step-side Chevy pickup.
Yes.
It was a rust bucket, but I wanted to keep it. Went to school, was going to be a mechanic, but it's a little difficult up here. Found I could make more money in a parts store and get a discount, so I moved that route.
And that's a good route because, auto parts are expensive. And
I get heat and AC, and I don't get dripped on in the winter, so it's fantastic.
Yeah. No, totally, dude. Absolutely. So then Alex, I assume you've always been a wastrel. Looking back on your stuff, again, this is where this is your life. But
that was the first motor I blew up.
You've got a long history of some obviously questionable choices.
Yeah.
When did you realize that you were a ruined person and would be just poor the rest of your life?
Well, I tell you, I tell people this all the time. I got a good family friend of ours, he graduated college in 2006 and bought himself a 2006 Pontiac GTO as a graduation present at 22 years old. And I was 15 years old in 2006, and he took me for a ride in the 4-mile trip from my parents' house into the little town they live near. We hit 158 miles an hour and hit the speed limiter, and I was locked in. That car had 400 miles on it. He was doing 160 miles an hour, and it was the fastest thing I'd ever been in, 400 horsepower of it. And now I've owned 3 GTOs myself, and I just keep searching for that same thing. That was the first one. That was back in 2013.
With your friend riding shotgun there.
Oh, yeah. She's still in the other room. She's 13 now.
Nice.
So, but yeah, I've had 3 of them since. This is my 3rd one, and this one's a turbo, and I just beat the hell out of it. I don't know. Their GTOs are terrible cars. I just love them so much. I don't know. They're just not good at anything. They just are what they are.
They look cool when they're doing something right.
Yeah, it's a fun car to screw around in, but It's
Yeah,
nothing.
it's
Like her car is so much better at everything than the GTO is.
and when the GTO came out, like so those were the years that the Camaro didn't exist. So
Right.
it was the CTSV, it was a Corvette, or it was a GTO. That was pretty much your options out of G and an SS. I mean, what did they have an SS then? No, I don't think so. No.
That came out in
So it was pretty much those cars, and the GTO and the CTSV are totally different chassis.
Yeah.
Very, very different.
And they both had their own weaknesses. The GTO had its own issues. The CTSVs of the time frame, like they were just, I mean, had garbage rear ends, garbage drive shafts, garbage clutches. Like they just weren't good.
No, and that's, I mean, everything that I've had to spend thousands of dollars to fix, and I finally got like an 8.8 in mine.
Converting them things to an LS7 clutch.
And now I've got if you follow me on the Facebooky, I just put my engine and trans together so they're ready to go back in my car. It's the ROPS
engines though.
This is the ROPS recipe. Actually, when I realized that my motor was eating itself alive, you guys were like, "Put your old motor back in it. You know it runs."
It's the one that works back in.
I had taken it apart, and I didn't have any of the gaskets. I didn't have head gaskets or nothing. Right. So it's that same motor. I polished the crank. It's got standard bearings, and I threw a set of rings at it, and new set of gaskets. And the 190,000 mile stock motor that came out of that car is going back in that car tomorrow.
Perfect.
Yeah. No, I mean, I tell people all the time, listen, unless you're trying to make 800 plus horsepower and you're worried about button rings and stuff, GM built that engine better than you can. So just
exactly. Even the computers over there did a better job than you're going to do in your driveway.
Yeah, I tell it like this motor that I just put in the GTO, it literally came out of a scrapyard, like owned truck that idled for every day for the last 20 years. And I bought it for $300 with zero testing. I didn't even get it retuned. I just took the 5.3 out of the GTO, dumped the 6-liter in, put 10% fuel into it, pulled 2 degrees of timing up top, and then went out and hit the limiter for a minute and a half at ICC.
Badass.
And it runs great. So I don't know what they did to those things, but every time I've tried building one, they just don't last as long as the stock ones for me. So
I've said that over and over, and then I haven't gone down that path because I've put parts in all of my crap that I currently have, and it's always blown up.
Yep.
So, I need to go backward a bit, but
we're a bit off that with our 2 vehicles now,
right?
But I mean, they're both running pretty good now. I guess the Thompson. I guess we can trust Thompson with her car now.
Totally.
So, yes, it's good.
Holly, what was your first hot rod? The 79 step side. But when are you out doing burnouts?
My first car that I did anything with is the SS. I'm the type of person that's like, no, we'll get whatever you want. We'll do stuff for you. So
don't let her knock it. She had several high performance vehicles before the SS, just none that we decided to do anything to.
To start partying on.
But,
yeah, so I went from an SRT4 Caliber.
Okay.
Which sounds cool, but the neon was way cooler.
It was 300 wheel horsepower from the factory.
Yeah, and honestly, I kind of dig on the not neon.
It was a cool car, but
it was cool, but it was still underneath it all a Caliber.
They did nothing to improve the quality of the car. It was still a throwaway car. So
it was a POS and then had 300 horsepower.
Yeah. It was a fun car.
So it was fun to drive.
And then your next car.
On it. From there, I went to an SRT8 Jeep, which I absolutely loved that thing. Jeep Grand Cherokees, I would 100% own another one. But when a SS showed up, and I'd been dreaming about having one since they first announced it in 2014, I was like, I need it.
It was one of those. It was perfect color, and it was 20 miles from our house.
Yeah.
And it's kind of perfect. That's all the new fuel system and whatnot.
Yes,
But it's kind of perfect because the GTO, the OG, and the SS are both Holden chassis. So you guys are basically Australian.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, you should eat at the Outback
we own
Steakhouse all the
G8s.
time and drink Foster's.
Yeah. Yeah. We've owned a couple G8s. We've owned not for very long. I typically will just fix those and flip them. I've never really liked the interior on the G8s, but I loved the G8 itself. So when the SS came out, it's literally on the same chassis. It's the VF Commodore versus a VE Commodore.
Okay.
And they're the same car. I mean, you could literally take the front ends off and swap them. But the SS is leagues ahead as far as interior goes, and it's just such a nice car.
It is, but honestly, going from the Grand Cherokee to the SS, I was a little disappointed.
Oh yeah. The Jeep is way better in stock form.
Stock form, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. GM
Then,
has a lot to answer for with their trans tunes.
Yeah, and once Boost District gets involved, then I mean, positive displacement blowers. Wow, positive displacement blowers. They'll change your life. They really will. The instant torque. My dyno graph from my car, my 4.8, with that Magnuson 112 little itty bitty blower.
Oh yeah.
It was making 425 foot-pounds of torque at like 3,000 RPM, and was 525 from 4,000 on. And I was showing it to a guy, and he was like, it's a stick car. He's like, if you miss a gear, it doesn't matter. It makes enough power that it'll just continue through the end of its RPM band. Like, no big deal. Absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. Power delivery. And I mean, you guys need to kind of spray that from the top of the world. Cause, Alex, you've got now the grandpa truck.
Yep.
And that's
Sierra.
Yeah. And that's a blown an LT4 blower on whatever you're not currently blowing up, a 5.3 now, I believe, an L83.
It's got the original 6.2 back in it.
Okay.
I had spun a main bearing in that, so that wasn't like totally blown up. But when it came apart, I was like, I need to get a line board. I didn't want to wait because machine shops are backed up. So I had a 5.3 sitting there. I used to have a turbo step side 15 or a turbo short box 15 Sierra that I had the 5.3 out of, and I just threw that together and put that in it, and that's what blew up on race week this year. So when I got home, I said, hey man, I'm gonna need my 6.2 block back, and we got it put together at the machine shop, and now it's a forged rod and piston LT1 basically.
Okay.
It's got a Gen 5 Brian Tooley 220 cam in it, which probably isn't the best for the supercharger, but it sounds really cool. So
it does. It sounds awesome. And I mean, whatever. Blowing a little bit of boost out of the exhaust pipe, and it sounds. I mean,
it makes 570 to the tire on E and like 510. Hey, look who's in here. What's up, Paul?
Team BTR.
Oh yeah. It sounds so cool, and it drives like stock. It's got a Circle D 3200 stall converter. I still use it to tow. I mean, I literally towed the GTO to Ice Cream Cruiser that was like 280 miles away. Unhooked the trailer, raced the 750 class, and then did a burnout contest in the GTO, and then raced a pickup all day the next day on roll racing.
It's awesome.
And then hooked up to the trailer again, and then towed the GTO home. So
the SS is a Gen 4, right? And the truck's a Gen 5?
Yes.
Okay. I'm a real big fan of like my fleet now. Everything I've got's Gen 4.
Yep.
Except my truck, and it's Gen 5. And I'm like, do I just change? Do I just switch my whole life to go Gen 5?
Big fan of the Gen 5 engines, but there is a learning curve there. There is,
right.
Sure.
The LT engine is leagues ahead of the LS.
As far as I'm concerned, what she said is absolutely true. Everything that they did to all the best and like LS engines, they just kind of integrated into all of the LT engines. And I
mean, we live in a really, really good time right now where we have access to information that people haven't had access to. And, I mean, like if you took the amount of engine dynos that we have right now and the amount of people that post that stuff up, like Richard Holdner has done some stuff with BTR. And
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
you can get like a recipe. I want to make this much power. Okay, cool. It's this and this and this and this and this. I mean, it's just what a time to be alive, dude.
Yeah.
And then dudes like Paul over at BTR,
Yeah.
you know, Matt over at BTR. Like I know those dudes personally, and they're awesome, man. They're like you could just, hey, I want this and this and this, and I just ordered some link bar lifters from him. Like I don't want to deal with any of the bull crap, but I don't want a $1,000 lifter. Oh, he's like, I got you, done, all day.
Yeah.
He just sends me an invoice, I pay it, and it shows up at my house.
For sure. Yeah.
It's absolutely great. So yeah, there's Paul.
Oh, yeah.
Al Ledesma says the grandpa truck burnout at Bishop's Castle in 23.
Oh, honestly, if you watch there's about 7 different videos that 1320's posted that my goal when I first started driving that truck was I just wanted to be in videos with it, and nobody's going to post an old stock looking truck. So I just needed to do really big burnouts to get there.
Yes, dude.
And so like as recently as like, I think they just posted a video. Yeah, that was 666. Or no, that was race week this year.
Yeah.
That was race week. Yep.
That was right before I blew it up.
Ha! I wonder what happened.
It made it. That was hours before it blew up.
Oh, I was assuming that all of the water underneath it is from the post explosion.
No, it exploded at midnight,
Okay.
like the second to last pass. And I don't even really know what happened yet. I was trying to slow it down, so I only had like 15 degrees of timing in it, and it was like, I don't know, it just started running really weird, and the knock sensors were going crazy, and I was like, gosh, that's weird. So I turned them off, and it ran a clean pass, and so I
just turn them off, like, no big deal.
Well, because I thought it was the exhaust routing, because the truck was running fine, it had good oil pressure. I was like, I don't know, so I turned them off, and then it ran a good pass, but it only went 1320, and the Ledesmas there were kicking my ass in the in the
13.0 class. They finished first and second. I've had them on one of my shows as well.
Yeah. So I added 2 more degrees of timing, and it ended up turning the knock sensors back on because it was just another tune file I had saved, and it got into the sensors again. And when it blew up, it was at like -5 degrees of timing. So I was like, that's probably why it went. But I still don't know why it was doing that. And now that I put the 6.2 in it, I've done nothing with it. It runs fine. So I really don't know why it did what it did, but it hurt when it happened. But every time her car is broken, we complain about it all we want, but ultimately, if it hadn't blown up, I mean, it'd still be an LSA car with a stock bottom end LS3 in it. So
right,
if it blows up, you have to upgrade. There's no point going backwards.
I mean, let's Holly, walk us through that. So, like, I mean, he blew his crap up at midnight. Did you blow your stuff up shortly after or shortly before?
No, so he blew his up at midnight, and we stayed up all night yanking the engine out of his truck. And we had just got it pulled out. The guy showed up with the new block, and we were going to start swapping some stuff over when we realized that it was locked up. Unfortunately, the dude had already left, and we had spent all night trying to get this ready to go.
Right.
At that point, we were just trying to figure out, okay, now we need to try to figure out how to get home because we have a main vehicle blown up. The SS can't haul everybody. I found out
now what?
Yeah. Thank God to the people out at Ennis. They allowed us to just drag the piece of crap truck out back and let it sit there to rot for a week and a half.
Those dudes are so awesome. Eric and TJ and DeMarcus and all those people.
I don't know, whoever we called, I think he called was called Cheeseburger or something.
Yeah, that's Eric.
Yeah. that's
Eric.
Call, so.
Dude, those dudes are top quality dudes. I mean, 100 other racetracks would have told you to no way, you got to take that stuff somewhere. And then you got a whole other headache to deal with. Those dudes are awesome. Yeah.
So,
but anyway,
luckily we had our road weekers with us that have come with us for 2 years now. There's just some friends from back here at home that we convinced to go on race week with us one time. And so I ended up hopping in their car with them. We put Caitlin in her car, and then we left. And then
it was like we made it past the first checkpoint and then had made a couple wrong turns. Me being low on sleep, I was getting frustrated, and the car was too hot.
I've never I've never been there. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah. So we were sitting at a stoplight, and my co-pilot realized that we were supposed to turn left instead of go straight. So I punched it when I shouldn't have. And
mind you, I had said, like, I'm in the other car and I'm listening to her haul ass through Dallas traffic. And I'm like, man, she's going to blow that thing up before we get to the next track. I mean, it wasn't 30 seconds. I'm getting a phone call and she's sobbing and she's like, the engine's making a horrible noise. Oil pressure's down.
I knew I had a rod knob.
It was bad. And it didn't help that it was 104 degrees out and just no wind.
Middle of traffic.
Yeah, it was brutal.
If you guys haven't been in Dallas traffic, dude, 0 out of 10 would not recommend. They all do bonehead bullshit, and they don't even honk their horns at each other. They're so used to it that they just almost get the whole front end of their car taken off, and they just, like zombies, just stare.
Yeah.
It's
they'll pretty much just picture Nissan Altima energy, and that's everyone.
We actually, Stevie and I have said that the official Dallas car is an Infiniti G35.
Yeah.
And with only half of a body kit. Either the front is on or the back is on, but not both. So what we figure is they're in a group, they're in a cult. Yeah, and they buy a body kit and they're like, okay, you get the front and I get the back.
Yeah.
And then we'll buy another one and then I'll take the front and then you can take the back and then we'll have complete cars. But they always crash into people too much. They never get the other half of their car. So half of it's always blown apart. Congratulations to Texas. You guys give out driver's licenses in Cracker Jack boxes.
Yeah.
I'm here to say it.
Yeah, we spent about 3 hours sitting at an Amazon warehouse in the heat. And I remember
like 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, I remember it being so hot that when we're sitting there, like trying to figure out what the heck we're going to do, the sprinklers came on for the trees. And I remember jumping out off the pavement to go lay in the grass with the sprinklers on. The water was hot coming out of the sprinklers. Like I was so defeated. But in true fashion, race weekers came together and we had a guy show up with a rollback at our hotel.
Well, first risk.
And this was okay. Hold on, I've got to back up. So this is the truck, right?
Oh yeah,
that's the truck being blown up.
That was us ripping the Gen 5 engine out of the truck.
And then this is post.
That's all the destruction in the pan. That's the most metal I've seen in any of my blown up engines.
And that actually still ran.
Yeah.
It's absolutely incredible the amount of crap you can do with these things. Anyway, I just realized I had pictures about stuff we were talking about. And but
so race week this year was expensive.
Right. But you ended up with a Thompson motor.
Yes.
Which is such a better platform to start with anyway.
As a warranty. That was what was crazy for us.
Yeah. Yeah, it's incredible. You stand behind your stuff that much to put a warranty on it.
Right.
And I'm going to beat the shit.
Yeah.
Talk to what's the combo currently in both rides?
You go first.
Okay, so we have the 408 stroker with the 2650 blower, 3-inch upper pulley, just the 10-inch lower for now.
That's 8.8 lower. 10-inch would give us a lot more boost.
No, at that time it was 10-inch. I guess it's 8.8 right now. But that's going to get upgraded once I finish the fuel system. It's got the PDS Stage 3 cam from BTR.
Mm-hmm.
Stock drivetrain currently.
How fast can you spin that 2650?
That's a good question. We are not even close.
Yeah.
Good. Nice.
My fuel system is 100% maxed.
Right, because you got Deechworks to give you a hand on that.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Krista at Deechworks hooked us up, so that's going to get installed this winter once I measure out my lines and get those ordered up. but for the moment, it's completely maxed out. I'm only spinning, 7,200 RPM.
That's the engine.
So
the blower. We've never actually looked at how many RPMs we're spinning that blower.
Yeah, with like an 8 and a 3, it's not. I mean, I don't know how fast you can.
It's not even
those.
tickling the efficiency range of this
I'm
blower.
only making 17 pounds of boost.
Okay, it makes 17 with where it's currently at.
Yep.
It's funny when she whacks the throttle. I'm used to like my little 1.7 on my pickup, and it makes all the boost immediately.
Right.
But hers goes from 12 pounds and ramps up because it's just not where it wants to be.
It's not spinning it hard enough, but
the blower, it's got so much more to offer us.
I'm blown away. 17 pounds on a 408 with an 8-ish and a 3.
Mm-hmm.
You got a long way to go.
Oh yeah.
Like,
no, my goal is to run 8s in that car full weight.
I was gonna say that thing could probably make 30 pounds.
It'll get there. We have a buddy of ours that has a ZL1 Camaro with a very, very similar. He's got a stock Cube 6.2 but forged engine, and
right
with a 10-inch lower and a 3-inch upper, he's making 26. So
okay, and yeah, you'll make less with a bigger motor, but that's still.
But he made 1,000 horsepower to the tire with like 16 degrees of timing in it. So I mean,
oh yeah,
that blower's got a lot more to offer us. We've just we're already at the limit of what some of the drivetrain can do. She broke a drive shaft not too long ago. So
yeah, because my goal up until recently was to run a 9 in the car, and it's been going on 2.5 years that I've wanted to run that goal, and the car was finally performing. Oh, somebody's got
oh Merry Christmas. McDonald's is closed.
TV.
So I got some Fruit Loops. Oh, that's awesome. Stupid McDonald's.
Yeah, I did that. I was driving all over to different gas stations trying to find a soda today. I was like,
sons of bitches.
Why they got to be closed?
I know. Don't they know I want a McDouble? Bad.
Yeah.
Enjoy. I'm sorry. Okay. So, Alex.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Holly. Is your car? Your car's all on E?
Yes, it is on E. I'm running a flex fuel pump. Flex fuel sensor for that, and an aux pump to help the OE fuel system.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been kind of impressed. Her car's on a literally bone stock fuel pump with just an auxiliary pump that kicks on with the map sensor, and it made just shy of 900 wheel. It has been fine, but we're very much at the limit of it.
Oh, right, yeah. So that 9, I almost got it.
And then it broke a drive shaft.
Yeah, after 666.
It went 10:03.
God.
The next pass broke the drive shaft.
Yeah, it went 10:03 pulling timing because we didn't have proper time to put fuel in it. And
we were running on half a tank of 87 and half a tank of whatever ethanol we had. So it was rough.
Guessing, hopefully. Here we go.
But it was kind of wild. We finished 666 on the 18th of October, and then we left Roswell, New Mexico at 7:30 p.m., drove all night to Kansas City to go to Streetcar Takeover on our way home just to see if it would run a 9 before we parked it for the year.
Right.
And that's when it broke. So within 20 minutes of being off the street, like we had got there, and then they had started the festivities early because they had been delayed the night before. And we didn't know that rolling in there. So we rolled up to tech as the ladies to the Women in Wheels class were rolling up to the staging lanes. So we had to get back. Luckily, Red Hat Scotty was there, and he let us bomb his pit with everything we had in the car and swap our wheels on. And she got up there and went at 10:03 at 139. And we were like, holy crap, that was a half a second faster than her best PB. And then we waited 4.5 hours on no sleep and broke the drive shaft.
And went home.
And then had to figure out how we were going to get home because we drove the car. So,
God.
It
so it's made 900 roughly.
Yeah.
Yep.
And what do you what's the goal? What I mean, again, four digits and eights now?
Yeah, ultimately, I've always had a goal to run an 8 in the car, just like even if it's one hero pass and then turn it down a little bit to run consistent 9s. But I don't want to take anything away from the car, so it's
Right.
going to have to be 1,000+ horsepower for that. Right now it weighs 4,500 pounds.
And it's new enough; it's legal to 9 flat, right?
Correct. Yep.
9 flat or 150, and I have a feeling we're going to hit 150 first.
Before you hit 9 flat, right?
I don't think the car's I don't think we can 60 foot hard enough in a car that heavy. I mean, we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong, but
you never know. I mean, that's I'm sure
maybe it'll surprise me without 60 foots, but
it's so awesome to me that you guys can go that quick in the newer chassis stuff. It's pretty sweet. It's bravo to an HRA for doing that. I think that's a sweet deal. The years are a little arbitrary. I think in my world, if it has XXXX airbags, you're good to go. Because the 06, 07 guys get a little shit on. When the 08
years are a little weird, that's for sure.
The 08 cars for the 10 flat.
There's some cars like
the Cadillacs that
the CTSVs are right in that weird year range where if you have an 09, you're kind of screwed, but if you have a 13 or 14, you're good, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
10-0. But then, like the same thing with the Chargers. I had a buddy of mine who got yelled at Ice Cream Cruise with his 06 Charger, but if he had an 08, it wouldn't have been a problem.
Right. And it's the same car, same exact car.
Right. So the years are a little weird, but it never really bothered us. We like the modern stuff. We also hate money, so it works out.
So that's what you do.
Yeah.
Alex, tell us about Grandpa.
It's a 2015 GMC Sierra Denali. Couldn't do it with anything less than a Denali.
Fancy,
yeah. Fully loaded. I am not gangster enough to pilot a 5-second car on the street or a 6-second car on the street, so I like having air conditioning. But it's an LT4 supercharged 6.2, basically an LT1 with 4 rods and pistons. Like I said, the Gen 5 220 cam. I have, on a really good DA night, gone on 1199 with it.
Cool.
It weighs a full 6,000 pounds. I did recently find the limits of the stock transfer case, so I got to get a new one of those because there's a clutch in there that's not happy with me right now.
Oh. You don't say.
Yeah, well, you know what? Turns out when you're in 4-wheel drive and you try to see how hard you can load that Circle D converter, you can take that 3200 to about a 4000 stall with it in 4-wheel drive, and then it breaks the back tires loose and kills the transfer case. So learned that. So I learned the limits of that. But on a 4-wheel drive launch, when it does a 165, 60 foot on the street, so
with a 4,000 pound truck,
6,000
pound truck,
3 tons of steel. 165, 60 foot, and it doesn't even make 600 wheels. So that's that PD blower, that instant torque.
Right.
Like you said, your 4.8 made 450. I think when I had my truck on the dyno, it made 600 foot-pounds at like 3,200 RPMs, and then just held it. So
it's just, I mean, just don't worry about it. You miss a shift,
I don't have to worry about it. I got 8 gears that do it at once. So
absolutely.
So my truck, I don't know. Her car's the fast one. We can't afford to have 2 really fast cars, so I play with the truck, and hell, I can't afford. Yeah, we definitely hate money. So now it's cool because I tow her car around, or I tow whatever. I mean, we daily drive the truck. I drive it everywhere. I use it as a work truck. So
hell yes.
It's a lot of fun. I have dreams of potentially owning a real race car at some point, but I want to see her get her goals before I worry about mine.
Yeah, exactly. And I can vouch for that. There's something cool about watching your person do their thing, and you guys both get to do it. Like,
I enjoy watching her race more than I like racing. So
right. Yeah, and you guys do it like it's a full family deal. You guys all, all go out there and earn cool Wicked Chick awards.
Yep.
And things like that.
We keep talking to Caitlin about potentially getting into the junior street stuff when she gets old enough. And she's not near into the car stuff as we are, but I think she's just competitive enough that if we put her behind the wheel of something, that I think she'll get into it a little more. But right now it's kind of boring. She's only 10, so can't really do much.
Yeah, she's like.
It is really funny. She can be just watching her tablet in the back seat, and we can do a pull on the street, and she'll just kind of like do this, and then she never even looks up.
She just knows, like,
she's
all right,
so used to it anymore.
Yawn.
Yeah, she just doesn't care. Which honestly, it's gonna be really funny when she gets older and or gets into having boyfriends or whatever. There's nothing they can do that's going to impress her.
Right, exactly. Like, oh, my mom's car is way faster than this.
Yeah.
What? Where'd you guys meet? How'd you meet?
Weirdly enough, one of my buddies had a crush on her, and honestly, that's how we met. Was we stopped at a homecoming game, him and I, and she was actually with her previous boyfriend. At the time, again, like we've been married 13 years, so she was 15
you
or
were
16.
Like,
yeah.
Oh yeah, that was.
I mean, chitlins.
Yeah, that was a month after I got back from Afghanistan in 2011. We had dated for a total of 4 months before I went to Afghanistan, and then I came home and married her a month after I got home.
Hell yeah!
We are 13 years later.
Rocking and rolling. Yeah. There you are. Little.
Yeah, that was on the way to Afghanistan. That was Kuwait McDonald's. That might be the best McDonald's cheeseburger I've ever had. Is that too soon?
Hell yeah! I don't have any McDonald's. None. Zero McDonald's currently. I have Fruit Loops, and they're great.
They're probably pretty good.
They are. So let me get into, I'm going to start getting a little bit into my questions. If you got questions, throw them up here. I want to know, what the hell is that?
That is a 1971 Ford Maverick. And my dad got it for $200. It didn't run. He told me when I was 13 years old that if I could get it running, I could have the car. And so I rebuilt my first carburetor, realized how much I hated him back then. And put it back together. Had a 250 inline six, and for 7 years I owned that car, and all it did was drive down the gravel road about a mile and a half and do donuts in the intersections. And I sure wish I still owned that car because it only weighed about 2,400 pounds, 2,500 pounds, something like that. Knowing what I know now, that could be really fast. But if you've never seen a Maverick, they're real small, and I don't know. I love that car. I kind of wish I'd never got rid of it. Can you hear me? I can't hear you.
There we go. Hey.
You're back.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I unplugged my microphone.
Whoops.
I can hear you, but I couldn't talk. That was wild. But so it had a 250.
Yeah, 250 inline six.
And it had enough stank to do burnouts?
No, it was on the gravel.
On the gravel, it would do the burn. Okay, got it.
Yeah, it was a gutless turd, but I could go do donuts with my cousins. Would come to the house and hang out, and we'd hop in the Maverick and go do donuts in the intersection a mile and a half up the road.
Are you still out of the like picture here, Holly? Is this pre Holly Alex?
Oh yeah.
Yes, that's way before me.
This was back when I was like 13, 14 years old.
So you've always been an idiot.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Grew up on a golf cart. Got junkyard golf carts my dad would get. We'd rip the governor off of them, go 28 miles an hour down the gravel, and hop ditches.
Hell yeah.
Scam the local scrapyard out of running driving vehicles so we could go ditch hopping, stuff like that.
I love it. That's my sort of jam right there.
Oh yeah, whenever you'd break one, you'd put it on the trailer, take it back to the scrapyard. He didn't care; he was crushing it anyway.
Yeah, whatever.
Can't get away with that anymore. The cops around here used to be pretty chill, but now if you did something like that, they'd probably show up.
Yeah. What's this?
That was technically not my first car, but that was my first legal car that I drove up and down the road. My dad gave that to me when I got out of AIT. He bought that car for me, and I had to get it running when I got home. I had a rotten fuel pump, put a pump in it, tried to kill the 305 for a year and a half, and turns out they're indestructible.
Is this 305?
No, that was the 406 I built for it, and that was the 406 I built for it, and my dad helped me, and the guy that I got the heads from when I built the motor didn't give me the right information, so instead of 72 cc chambers, they had 64 cc chambers.
Oops.
So instead of like 11.5 to 1 compression, I was making more like 14 to 1 or something like that, and it that piston looked like that after 2 miles.
Oh wow.
And I wasn't even hard on it, like just putting up the road. Just locked up the motor, and that's what it looked like when I pulled it apart.
Holy crap. Wild.
So
Wild.
yeah, that's another car I wish I still had, but
Well, let's do it then. Let's get into typically I ask this in the third question, but tell me about the one that got away. What car did you sell that you shouldn't have sold?
I'm not gonna lie, that one still has to be the Maverick. That car is so light. If I could ever find that one or another decent version of that one, I could make one of those very fast.
Especially that one. I mean, the vinyl top, the white. Yeah. Look how clean it is.
Car. My grandma used to make fun of me for it. She called it a sissy car.
Those were kind of sissy cars back in the day.
I know, but I didn't know that when I was 13. I thought it was a cool car.
Right.
But it only weighs 2,600 pounds, and like looking at it now, like an aluminum block LS in it or something. Hell, even a Coyote nowadays,
yeah,
that would be a gnarly car to have. But I think if I had one that got away, that'd be it for me. I don't know what hers is.
Honestly, I don't have one yet.
You haven't sold one that you don't miss?
No.
Okay.
I miss the Jeep.
The Jeep was nice, but
the Jeep led right to the SS. So.
Yeah. It was a worthwhile upgrade.
Go back.
No.
Hell yeah. What is this? Will be. I mean, it's got to be this last year, right? Like, what's the largest thrash that you've been a part of?
Yeah, that was definitely race week.
Yeah, I mean, but it's not even just race week. I mean, prior to race week this year, I had my stock converter and my pickup had swelled and shoved the crankshaft into through the front of my motor.
Knocked the thrust
out
of it.
All the main bearings out of it.
Yep.
So I had to get a new block, new bearings, everything, put the thing together, and then that's the motor that ended up blowing up on race week. I had to order a converter, an $1,800 converter, and Circle D was gangster, man. I ordered it on Monday and had it on Thursday.
That's so awesome.
Paid through the nose to get it, but I couldn't. I mean, they had it to me so fast that when I pulled the foam out of the box, there was paint on the foam, because the paint was still wet when they put it in the box.
When they put the foam on it, right.
Right. So I was like, dang, they really got that to me so fast. So, I mean, big thanks to Pete Nichols over there. And the guys are at Circle D, but
and then on top of that, I had rocker studs pull out.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's honestly, I think what killed that motor on race week was, we got it running, and then she was out testing it, and it pulled the threads out of the rocker bolts.
Right.
Out of two rocker arms right next to each other, and of course her car's got link bar lifters. So it pulled the lifters up out of the bore and lost all the oil pressure for a minute.
Right.
So that's what we think happened to that engine on race week, was it just was already hurt. So I mean that thrashed 3 weeks before race week, and then to do race week and have 2 motors go out on us. And somebody said to me that night, they were like, I don't even remember who it was, but he says, I don't know how you go through all this and still have a smile on your face. And honestly, on 666 this year, they had a sticker that just, I mean, it tells it all. It said, for the fucking adventure.
Yep.
And that's it. That's, it's only money, man.
Totally. And you're making like life, you know, long memories with your people. And
yeah. And like walking around PRI tells us why it's worth it, because not only do we run into you, we ran into Matt and June. We ran into, I mean, I can't even tell you how many people we ran into at PRI that were just like, hey, what's up? And like, we just know these people through what we do. And I mean, we're nobody, but we know just so many people. Like, it's
dude.
Such a small group of people that you just run into people constantly.
And they're all really cool. Like, everyone's genuinely cool. They want to know how you're doing. They want to know what's going on.
Yep. So it's for the adventure. So
absolutely.
Do you agree with that? I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I mean, for me, it's the adventure, the memories, and doesn't matter if it's 2:00 in the morning or 6:00 in the afternoon, working on my car with friends. That's just, if I could do that all day, every day, I would. So.
Totally. And how about like the wicked chick camaraderie? It's like it's like its own thing. Like Stevie will tell me, like, oh my God, like all these girls are all rooting each other on, and it's such a cool deal. Like being part of that and getting to win a deal with that. Like talk about that deal and all the wicked chicks.
So race week, that's the first thing that I've ever been to that's so welcoming to female racers, car chicks. Mm-hmm. And everybody, like, it doesn't matter that we're competing. We're all excited to see everybody succeed. The fact that, sorry, our dog's being funny. The fact that they chose me to win.
I get it.
Still honored and in disbelief about it, because I don't think I should have won it since I didn't finish the week per se. So
yeah,
it's
pretty cool.
We talk to our burnout guys a lot. You know, like Andrew, he's like, I don't like drag racing. He's all burnouts, that guy. It's fine, but he's like, his reasoning is because he thinks that drag racers are a bunch of assholes. And I was like, no, you're in the wrong crowd.
Right.
there are crowds of drag racers that are that way, but not the drag and drive. That's why we do it. You know?
It's more like a family. So.
It is, and even, I mean, it even transcends events. I mean, you guys did the 666. If you guys don't know, they started and finished in different tracks. So this is like a commitment. Like, talk to us about how. I mean, the 666 is a little bit different than a typical drag and drive, and I'm not asking you to like compare and contrast, but talk about that cool like 8th mile. Everyone's in one class. That's got to be such a cool. I unfortunately missed it this year, and they're doing Michigan miles and the 6 Smokies that are going to be the same format, I believe. But talk to us about that and like how cool that's got to be, where you're like not even really competing, like a little bit, but you're really just doing it. Like that's got to be such a cool gig.
Yeah, no, honestly, 666 was my favorite event this year. All the tracks were super nice. The route, that's been a bucket list thing for me since I was little, seeing all the shops and
all the neon.
We met some people that told us the backstory of cars. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, they knew more about the movie Cars than I think even the people who made the movie did.
Yeah, we met the family that inspired Mater, so that was pretty cool. But
also not having to work on the car was quite refreshing.
Yes, there's only a few minor things, and ultimately it was great. But we picked our own personal goal to set, and
almost made it. We got real close. I think you ended up going 670 or 671.
Yeah, it was 670, and I wanted to do a 660 on 660.
Okay.
Yeah, we wanted a 666 average, but we got real close. I think you might have.
It was a 670.
Yeah, something like that. It was really close, but elevation kind of kicked our butts.
It happens.
Yeah, but I mean, it was actually cool. I mean, there was a really, really awesome mountainous drive we did on one of those days. That was honestly one of the reasons we started doing Rocky Mountain Race Week. So
yeah, being able to drive in the mountains and
love mountain driving.
Yep.
So
Yep. I was able to do. I did Power Tour in 1998 or 9, and it was a bunch of Route 66. And man, I had the time of my life. I was like a 18 or 19-year-old kid, and yeah, it was pretty sweet. And I really, when they came out with that one, I was like, I should, really try to plan on getting over there. But fortunately or unfortunately, I'm just busy. It is what it is. I got a lot of stuff going on, so I'll take it.
Yeah, Power Tour is one of the ones that kind of got me into more of the dragon drives, but I never went on one. A bunch of my buddies did, and I was like, man, that looks like fun. But I liked drag racing. Like, I'm a function over form guy. Like, I
Totally.
like fast.
Totally.
So, like, I didn't care about the driving portion so much at the time. Like, I wanted to go fast. And then now I'm a little different. Like, things have changed dramatically.
Yeah, and that was like we ran into that too. And even back then, I went with my buddy who had a big block 66 Charger.
Oh yeah,
big block 66 Charger. And we went the day or the year before with my other buddy, and he has a big block Challenger. And we just did a little portion of it. And then I had my Toyota truck that was a turbo 22RE.
Oh yeah.
That ran like in the 14s or whatever. It was a pretty sweet little ride, but we brought at that time, like faster cars to the long drive. All these people had small blocks and fuel injection, and we had carburetors, and it was just different. So, yeah, dude, it's just been such a huge change in that world since it's become so much more mainstream. I just love it.
Yeah, it's pretty wild how many, we've only been doing it 4 years now.
And yeah, you sell your soul to drag.
Well, the amount of events that have come up in just the last 3 years
totally
is crazy.
There's one in your backyard, no matter where you are.
Oh yeah. I mean, even now we got 6 Summer, and that's 2 hours from our house. So
which I'm going to miss this year. I'll be at the Big Sky Race Week.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, we're hoping to hit as many as we can. We'll see financially how that shakes out, but
6 Summer is a blast. It's absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
It's in between.
Yeah.
Sick Week is here. It's like meant to be the Super Bowl, the fastest, the baddest, the meanest. 666 is here. We're meant to have fun. 6 Summer sits kind of in between. It's still really fun. It's still really competitive, but it's not as competitive. It's more chill for sure.
Yeah. We'd love to do more sick events like Sick Week or 6 Summer. Sick Week is a lot to ask. I mean, that's a long ways from North Iowa.
Right.
If we did Sick Week and, both Cletus and cars, like that's 3 trips to Florida in 1 year with a trailer. So
right. And going 70 miles an hour or 80 miles an hour is a whole lot different than going 500. That's how I get there.
Yeah. So, I don't know if maybe someday we'll move south, but for right now, North Iowa is home. But we do want to do Michigan miles, and we do want to do the 6 Smokies. We were hooked after 666. That is
totally.
Such a chill race. Like it's just not as competitive, which we love the competition. I'm not dogging on any competition by any means, but it's nice to have one that's not
different strokes for different folks. Like you can have that. You obviously have proven you guys can do that.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, it's sort of nice to be able to like, oh, we're not in like huge time crunch.
Yeah.
There's a sweet little diner. Let's go check that out.
And that's exactly how 666 went. We went, man, that looks cool. We should stop there.
Yep.
And that's what we did. Like, I mean, we spent a lot of time just adventuring.
And I think that's a lot of it too. We've been in Dallas for race week. I don't know, 3 times. We went to Dallas. Stevie and I did for something. A race. We went down early for race week. We had a little bit of time where we could just check stuff out. So we went down to like the Kennedy assassination site and like just stuff like that. We've been through Dallas. We never even had a thought to like go sightsee.
Right.
But we had the chance to do that. And it's a welcome change for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Race week, we see the sights as we're driving by.
Right.
But it's like you said, it's just different. Like I will always go to Rocky Mountain Race Week. We'll
it's I mean that's where my people are.
Yeah, for sure. That's home for us, I think.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean there's a lot to be there's an event near you.
Right.
If you're on the cusp of like, man, I want to maybe look into doing a dragon drive, for Christ's sake, sign up for one.
I will say my favorite event. I won't speak for both of us, but my favorite event is definitely Ice Cream Cruise.
Totally.
It's a little bit of everything in a 3-day deal. That was in my regular cab. I got that. I was blown away. I was like, my turd? Really?
I've never been, and I've always wanted to go, and I've heard that it's a blast. I've talked to Cliff Parvin is the announcer for that deal.
Oh, yeah.
And he helps kind of MC it and whatnot, and he's done nothing but talk highly about it. And in fact, like I said, Kyle's told me like you need to make it out here, and
it is an unbelievable time. Like
it's something for everybody.
I need to put it on my calendar.
We went there with our 3 cars. I did a burnout in the burnout pit, and then we drag raced that Saturday night. And then the next day they had the burnout pit open again, but my car was broken, so I didn't go out there. And then we roll raced all day, and then we hung out with the whole crew till like 4 in the. I just posted me doing a burnout on the track at 3:30 in the morning. Like it was just dumb stuff. And it's just such a vibe to just be hanging with hundreds of your friends.
Totally. And
Kyle can throw a hell of a party. That's for sure.
I was gonna say it's Kyle. Yeah, Kyle knows kind of how to party.
Yeah. And this year was again just like with the Dragon Drive stuff. This year, with the Skids for Kids guys kind of taking over the burnout contest, it was such a different level even from last year. And every time we go there, I don't know how they ramp it up every single year. We've been going for 5-6 years now. And every year there's more. And this year we pulled in on Friday and was like, what is happening? Who are all these people and why are they here? It was like, no, it was Thursday night we got there. Thursday night we got there. And I was like, wow, this is wild. So it was crazy to see how many people show up to that every year.
I'll get my assistant on checking out.
If you can carve out even just the Saturday and Sunday, you should go to Ice Cream Cruise. It's worth it. It's worth every second.
And shout out to Kyle and all the dudes with 1320. That's I always tell people to kind of keep an eye on companies that support racing that you like. Those dudes support everything. And they bring out like professional level photographers to like street races in the middle of nowhere, cash days stuff that dudes are throwing. Shout out to 1320. Those dudes are the real dudes, and they're gangsters and they're awesome. And
they were another
love what work you guys are doing. What's that?
They were another one we ran into at PRI. We're like,
hey, what's up? Kyle had the magnetic dicks. And he was sticking on everyone's stuff.
We had a couple of people talk about how they got dicked.
Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing wrong with getting dicked by Kyle Loftus. You heard it here first. Dash Adam Dory.
Yeah. We have
Any
yet to,
potential sponsor now just left.
we have yet to be dicked, but I'm sure it'll happen at some point. We're around them enough.
It'll happen. I promise. The one I gave you guys a heads up on. What drag and drive car would you like to drive? And what drag and drive car would you like to own if they're not the same car? Alex.
Well, for me, we were just talking about this before we got on here. I really am in love with Matt Frost's car.
The Hulk.
The Hulk.
Yeah.
That when I saw it, we went to Havlicks and that was the only time we've ever watched a race. And watching him and Bryant Goldstone and Jason Hurley all run 6-second passes, win first, second, and third, and like they were all street driven, like gangster cars. Like I couldn't even be mad that they won because like they were all gangster cars that went out, they drive on the street. So I think I really like Matt's car. Like that's one of my, if I had a bucket list car, it'd probably be one of those whole, what is that, Nova 2 or whatever it is?
Yeah, Chevy 2, and specifically that car. Like I can vouch. Like
it's an unbelievable car. Every time I see
I've said it before, and if you've never had a chance, look in the trunk of that car. Most people don't get a chance to see the trunk. The carbon fiber that's in the trunk is black and green, so it matches the car.
Yeah.
It's insane, and you would never know it. You got to look at it close.
Yeah, I think that would be one that I'd like to drive. I'd be terrified of it, but I'd love to drive it.
Yeah, and it's gone 680s, and it's all metal. I think it's even got aluminum hood. It might be a carbon deck lid now, but it's quarters, roof, and doors, I think, are even metal in that car.
Yeah, the attention to detail on that car is what really attracts me to it for sure.
Yeah. It's sweet.
But I'm definitely not gangster enough to own a car like that. This sounds a little silly, but I really like 6th-gen Camaros, and the one that comes to mind is Anthony Latimer's.
Dude, that car is gangster.
So I think if I wanted to own one, that would probably be it. We talk about it all the time. I could just take the built engine out of my truck and put it in a 6th-gen and go really fast.
Oh, dude. Yeah. And that car is, it's an F1 blower.
Yep.
It's got like a 416, I think, now from Bowtie.
Yeah. And I've seen him go basement 9s with it still.
Right. And
all
like
the comforts that, a guy like me likes.
AC, it's still got the push button start.
Yep.
All the stuff. That car is cool.
I'm a amenities guy. That's why I built a Denali. So
that car is cool. And that was one I got to call on. We got a 4-car shootout at the Mile High Nationals.
Oh yeah.
And Tony was able to bring his car out, so he was one of the ones I got to call passes in front of tens of thousands of people at a racetrack, which was bucket list type stuff. So
to me, that's like the ultimate street car or something like that can go basement 9s. Like maybe he's cracked off 8s at this point. I don't know, but something like that's fully loaded, has everything that I like in it, and you can just drive it anywhere, kind of thing.
Hell yeah,
that'd be mine. What do you got?
Well, I'll probably know the answer, but I have a dream vehicle that was way before the SS, and eventually I will have it, but it's going to be a 1950 Chevy pickup. It's going to be full raced out. That will be my fast vehicle.
Okay.
But that will be the ultimate dream to drive and do on a drag and drive for me.
Hell yeah. What current built ride, who's currently built ride would you like to own?
Would I like to own?
Own or drive?
I mean, I'd like to drive Goldstein's car.
Okay.
I don't know if I'd want to own it, but I'd like to drive it.
His new one or his Javelin?
The Javelin.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you guys didn't see, he's got a brand new
Yeah.
first-gen Corvette that he unveiled at PRI,
Yeah.
and the license plate is "Enjoy Second."
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if there's anyone who can kind of wave it around like that, it's
I mean,
him.
talk the talk and walk the walk. I mean,
Yeah.
that dude's got
him, for sure.
Yeah.
two current bad fast cars. If you didn't know, he's got a 70 Chevelle that runs like.
Actually, funny story. I was at Hobby Lobby today. It's a yearly tradition for me and Caitlin to go decorate.
Did you find one of those Johnny Lightnings?
Christmas Eve, and I found one of those, and I went, "Oh, cool! It's got a trailer." And I went, "Wait a minute, that says Drag and Drive on it."
That's
that was
Brian
just
Goldstone.
Today. That was just today, and it says right on the package. It tells us. I was like, Caitlin, I know that guy.
Yep.
Like,
Yep. So that car is like a 770 car.
Yeah.
And then he's got his Javelin. That's going to be now his backup car that ran 640 on Hot Rod Drag Week in Drag and Drive competition.
That's so crazy how fast.
And
that
now he's got a new car that is going to be, it's going to rival a Jeff Lutz. It should be a 590.
Yeah, he said he wants to average 5s in it.
Right. Right. So now you've got Brett LaSala, you've got Brian Goldstone, you've got Tom Bailey, you've got Jeff Lutz.
Yep.
Dude, there's 4 that I just named just real quick in a second, and there's probably 2 more waiting in the wings. There could be 6 cars trying to run 5s in Drag and Drive in 2025.
Sick week this year.
It's going to be absolutely insane.
Insane.
It's going to be insane. Absolutely insane. And I'm here for it. And I hope that I get to be involved in some way, shape, or form because damn it.
I hope you get to be involved too, because then I can be like, hey, I know that guy.
That's cool.
Careful.
Hold on. I got it. I just missed. It's slippery. It's not grippy. All right. What is your favorite racetrack of any flavor?
Honestly, it's got to be a toss-up. As far as drag racing goes, Vandermeer. I mean, but it's a toss-up between that and the Freedom Factory. The Freedom Factory is a different vibe.
Love and Bradenton. I think you can kind of put a slash.
Oh yeah.
You can throw a rock from one to the other.
You've never raced at Bradenton Motorsports Park yet, so
I haven't raced there. I've worked both. They're both awesome.
Yeah.
They're kind of one and the same. They're absolutely
I do
awesome.
like, you can see in Garrett's videos that like they're always ready for action. And that is something that I've never seen at any other track anywhere.
Right.
So
Right.
I say it all the time with our local track. I was like, if I had a track, the lights would be on every night. Like, I don't know how these guys manage to stay open with only one night a week.
Right. Come up with something. And like you did that with the Christmas lights.
Yeah.
Come up with something. It's sitting there vacant.
Yeah. I mean, use the land, like do something to keep this place open. But that dude's don't care.
That dude's maybe the smartest dude in motorsports ever.
It's always occurred to me, like, I don't know what the overhead could possibly be to turn the lights on. Like if you can keep it worth it.
Who knows?
I don't know.
He could tell you.
It's not every day. Just
he could tell you. He knows probably down to the spectator how many people need to be there to turn the lights on. Like I could do it if I had 38 people.
You're right.
And 39, I'm making a profit. That would be the dude to ask. And he would, he may not tell you what that number is, but he knows what that number is.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
But it's just, that's one of those things where we talk about cool racetracks, and that's just seeing a racetrack that's basically open every single day. And like, you want to go test your car, you don't even have to question it. You can go to Bradenton Motorsports Park.
Right.
So I really like just that vibe of that area, that racetrack, and the guys that own it are kind of the reason for it, really.
Totally.
So
Holly.
Well, for like an 8th mile track, I would have to say like Albuquerque's.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's up in the mountains. Like, you have to go on this winding path up this mountain, and then you're up there racing, and then there's mountains in the distance.
And they're like 5,000 feet, I think,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Yep.
So
but it's a really nice facility, and it's beautiful views. So I would say that would be a favorite for
Hell
8th
yeah.
mile. Quarter mile's probably flying H right now.
That was a nice
It's a
track.
nice
I
track.
have yet to go, and I can't wait to go because
Yeah.
brand new. If you guys don't know, brand spanking new, purpose built, all concrete, quarter mile racetrack. I think it's 4,000 feet total length, and it was basically like had a town hall meeting and said, "What do you want?" And money is no option, and took every
that's a
piece and
facility.
said, "We'll do it."
Yeah, no, and it's a beautiful facility. That's where I broke my drive shaft, actually.
Atta girl.
Don't mind her. She's taking pictures of the dog.
That's okay. I love it. I got so many pictures of my dog. I just got her a gentle leader. It does the snout
Oh,
and the
yeah.
head, so that she can't pull. It pulls her head sideways.
Yep.
2 thumbs up, 2 enthusiastic thumbs up. That dog was a whole different dog on a
Yeah.
leash.
What kind of dog is she?
A Belgian Malinois.
Oh, geez.
And
Dog and a half there.
yeah, she's 4.5 months old. Yeah, we walked 2 miles today. She at one point she hates it. She flopped over and just stopped walking. But I got her up and got her moving, and we were fine, easy peasy.
Yeah, we have a Siberian Husky sitting here, and he is currently laying on his back staring at us like, dude, are you guys going to shut up soon?
Right. I've had a Siberian Husky, and I also have a German Shepherd. I'm very well aware of triangle ear dogs. I love them. They're awesome.
Yeah, we have 4 of them. This is the only one in the room at the moment.
It's very surprising.
So no, take pictures of your dog all night long. I will not stop you from that ever. Trailer or no trailer on a drag and drive?
Trailer,
Trailer.
100%.
I drive a pickup, and I'll tell you, load it all in the trailer.
Yep.
You don't want
Plus trailer burnouts.
You can always tell the guys that are doing it for the first time, the drag and drive stuff, because they're unloading their crap at every track. Yeah, there's my camper. They're unloading their crap at every track, and they're like, I don't know why you bring a trailer. You just put it in the back. And then by the end of it, they have a trailer the next year.
Right. Right. And I started with a fanny pack. It's just a little basket, on the back of the car, and G-Body Malibu. It's a triangulated 4-link with coil springs. Dude, coil springs don't like to hold a ton of weight when it's really far away from it.
Right.
So that thing was on a big old lever, and I hated it. So I had it for one day and went and rented a U-Haul trailer.
Yeah.
On my first drag week, 2014, and never again. I'm a trailer dude through and through. Dude, you can load your trailer heavy. You can take that thing off, and it takes 30 seconds.
Yep.
Yeah.
It would take you 20 minutes for the same amount of time to unload that out of the back of your truck.
Well, and it's not only that it's 20 minutes, it's also like it's the headache of having to organize it back the way it was to make it fit.
Well, it's 20 minutes on the front end, 20 minutes on the back end. But then by the end of a 5-day deal, dude, it's an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, you've blown your tools apart. There's crap everywhere. Well, and we had friends of ours that went on 666 with us, like Cody Hansen, another race week guy. And he had his SS, and he had just kind of put it together, and he wasn't sure if the transmission was going to hold up. So he had a whole transmission in his trailer. Well, he couldn't have done that if he threw it in the trunk of the car.
Yeah. Rich Guido has done stuff like that, but he's the Canadian Chuck Norris. So, whatever. He's a different breed of dude.
Yeah.
We are getting ready to round up our Christmas Eve special here with the ROPS. I've got a couple more questions. If you got any more that you would like to ask, throw them up in the comments and let's get them done as well. I've got to know, what is your best memory from any race that you've ever been on?
That's a good question. What do you got?
That is a good question.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to kind of pick one because we've kind of thrashed at everything. I think honestly the memories are just hanging out with everybody. That's what we look for more than anything.
I get it. That last day pulling into a hotel.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times we camp at the track, and that's when some of our favorite time. Yeah, yeah. That's our road weeker buddies. We were at the track, and we woke up the next morning, and our buddy Vaughn, his air mattress. Air mattresses are great if you want to sleep on the floor, but just not right now.
Right. in a little bit, you can sleep on the floor.
Yeah. If you want to wake up in the middle of the night on rocks, that's the best way to do it is through an air mattress.
All right. So my favorite memory isn't while racing, but after the second all-nighter when we finally started my car.
Oh yeah.
So our friends Sabra and Luke went and got the Suburban as like, okay, we're gonna need the trailer because the car's not tuned. We shouldn't drive it untuned.
Right.
And so they had run an all-nighter going to get our truck and trailer. And we did an all-nighter trying to get the car put back together. And everybody just being there at the moment that we started and pulling it out of the shop and putting it on the trailer to go back and meet up with everybody else.
Oh, that was a win and a half there. And
hell yeah.
Again, our road weekers, Sabra there, her and her boyfriend Luke, they took off in the middle of the night and drove back up to Tulsa from Greenville, Texas, to grab our Suburban and our trailer and brought it all the way back down.
So
again,
awesome.
we do all these things, but we certainly, I tell people all the time, we couldn't do half the stuff we do without the help of the people around us. So,
right.
And I think that's truly something you can say for everyone in the drag and drive world is you really couldn't do it without the help of the people around you.
And you know, I've seen that as well in the burnout world.
Oh yeah, I think
that
that's why
community is super duper tight. It's super close, just like the drag and drive community, but it's smaller. So it's even tighter, which is cool.
And if anybody wants to help with building a burnout car, the GTO needs some help right now. So,
so you can get free experience. He won't even charge you.
Yeah, you're welcome to come over.
Get the experience.
I'm trying to put a turbo 400 in it because it turns out T56s are not the move when it comes to burnouts.
I mean, Neighbor would disagree.
Neighbor's a PD blower, not a turbo LS. So I do not have the power to shift gears and stay in it. Like
it might be easier to change the power delivery system than the
transmission. But a T56 is worth $1,500 and a
valid
turbo 400 is like $300. So
I get it. I do
pour up LSA from her first motor that we could put on the GTO, I suppose.
Yeah, just do that. You just got an LSA sitting around?
It's tore up, but it had pistons go through it.
That's okay.
But I bet it still spins.
I was going to say, all it needs to do is make 10 pounds.
Yeah. I don't even think it'd need that. 5 pounds would probably be plenty to spin tires.
Just saying. What advice do you have for newbies? Like people just now getting into a burnout car or a drag and drive or a chick wanting to get involved in racing stuff or whatever. Like, what advice do you have to whatever rubric you put on newbies?
Watch what we do and do the opposite. Start with a way cheaper car.
And a way lighter car.
For the burnout stuff, like burnout stuff is so simple, but people tend to overcomplicate it. Like the Australians that we've met along the way here this year, there's a ton of them over here. I'm going to tell you, don't overcomplicate it. You don't need a power adder. You don't need anything. Put an LS together. A 6-liter LS with a cam is enough to spin tires. So, I mean, don't overcomplicate it. You don't need a blower. You don't need a turbo. I started with a car that had no business doing burnouts and then making it better at burnouts. And then like drag and drive stuff, same thing. You don't need to be the fastest out there unless you've got a deep wallet. Like I would definitely just stick with something simple. Run a 12.0, you know, 12.0, 13.0. You can make a car go 13.0 real easy nowadays. Like you can buy a Scat Pack Charger, for example, and they're basically a mid to high 12-second car right out of the box.
Right.
So something simple. If you want to just dip your toes in the drag and drive world, that's what I would do. Is something that's basically stock.
Totally.
Try it.
And then for like any girls that want to get out there, it's going to be intimidating at first going to the track. My first time, I was so nervous of people seeing me screw up at the lights. I had my caliber and I was like, oh gosh, I'm going to kill it when I go to leave.
Stick shift life.
Yeah. I'm going to mess up. But nobody cares about that. They just want to cheer you on. So you just got to let that blow past. If you kill it, start it back up and take off.
I promise you, more of us dudes are out hitting curbs and like driving into the ditch and doing dumb stuff.
Don't tell people that.
Than any women out there.
No one needs to know about us hitting.
We are definitely the ones pushing things to the limit to the point where we're screwing up.
I don't know.
Yeah, I've never hit a curb.
Oh, this Connor Lewis is asking what I would do to his.
Yeah, that's a great question. A dude that has a GTO. What does a guy do to spend money to not waste money?
It sounds like he's got a stock drivetrain P1 Pro Charger. Me personally, get that wheel hop under control. GTOs are, like I said, they're kind of good at a lot of things, not great at anything. They have terrible wheel hop. You can't fit a real tire under it, and the axles, diff, and drive shaft are kind of eh.
Yeah, so you're going to want to upgrade those to G-Force axles. I think they're the only ones that make them.
G-Force has axles for them. That's what's under mine. I don't personally love one-piece drive shafts, but the one in our car has been good, do like 140, and I don't plan on going much faster than that. So it's been fine.
Yeah, my one-piece vibrated like crazy.
So yeah. So that's my first GTO. I took the two-piece out of it, put a one-piece in it, and it vibrated so bad I cracked the oil pan at like 102 miles an hour.
Yeah,
and
not
I couldn't
worth
figure
it.
out why it did that. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that'll tell me, "Oh, you had something else going on." I had to think balanced like 6 times. Like I tried everything, and it still did it. So
yep.
I don't know what I was doing, but I put my one-piece drive shaft back in it, and I could do 160 smooth as silk. Or my two-piece. Yeah. So.
Yep. Same exact experience. I didn't break anything with mine, but I was gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I pushed it to like 110 one time, and because the GTO's front sump, it like shook the transmission so bad that it cracked like the oil port above the oil filter.
Perfect.
And it just started spraying oil everywhere because that's of course a pressurized port. So,
Perfect.
They're pretty awesome too. They did some pretty awesome things with that.
Yeah, the Ledesmas are in here. Again, I've had them on. That was a super cool deal. But they got first and second in the.
I know, and now I decided. I think I want to move to the. I don't know. I think I'm gonna bow out of. I'm just gonna road week and make a week.
Okay.
I think so. I saw them doing the 12.0 class. They scared me off. No, that's not really what it is, but I just after blowing up 2 cars last year, we're gonna do 1 car and see how it goes.
I like that. I like that a lot. Apparently, the carbon drive shaft shop in the GTO.
Yeah, but the problem is every time we talk about doing a carbon fiber drive shaft in any car, because we've talked about it in her car too. Pretty much everyone with experience with like the Holdens specifically or the CTSVs tell us that the exhaust creates too much heat and eventually you'll have epoxy come apart on them. And I'm not trying to make a $1,500 drive shaft be a maintenance item. So
right. Nope. I get that. Nice dual piece, 2-piece. It does everything you need it to do.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, her car's probably going to get a one piece just because that seems to be. And we talked to Dynamic Drive Lines, and they're only a couple hours down the road from us. And that guy swears he can put together a carbon fiber drive shaft. So we're at least going to venture down that path. We're going to talk to him and see what.
Yeah. And I mean, the idea is there. It's a good drive shaft. It's light, and if it self destructs, it just makes carbon fiber pieces.
Yeah,
it's confetti.
Hopefully we don't have that problem. I don't. The other problem with that is people will tell you the horror stories of getting a rock chip, and that's when it comes apart. But I've personally never even heard of that happening.
Same. I think that's your car will pole vault if the front front U-joint goes out.
I've broken lots of drive shafts, and I have yet to pole vault a car. So
right.
If a drive shaft is strong enough to pull vault a car, I want that drive shaft.
Totally. That actually is a good segue into what you guys got going next for your rides, and when are we going to see you next?
So the SS is getting a complete rear cradle change out, going with the ZL1 diff, and
cool.
Obviously we're upgrading the drive shaft, and hopefully
adding more weight. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're adding a lot more. It's like another 80 pounds.
It's 80 pounds difference with the ZL1 axles and diff over the SS. But I'm going to get rid of my ice tank, upgrade my fuel system, and 15-inch conversion in the back.
Cool.
Hopefully it stiffens up. Watching the front wheels or the back wheels almost hit the front when it tries to take off.
I saw that photo you guys just posted.
Yeah.
The rear control arm bushings and everything in the back are pretty wore out.
They're pretty hashed. It turns out they were not designed to hold 900 horsepower.
Yeah, that'll happen. Happen.
So the pickup, honestly, what I'd really love to do on that, I've been going back and forth. I almost sold the blower to go to a twin turbo kit because it doesn't limit me on power. And then I'm like, God, I don't want that much power in the truck. So then I'm like back to the little 1.7 blower is really sweet. And if I could spin it enough, I could make the power I want. I want about 700 wheel out of it. But my limiting factor right now is just the accessory drive. I'm still working with the stock truck accessories with like an CT billet.
6 rib
deal, and I'm on the smallest pulley available for that snout and that setup, and I'm making like 8 pounds. So I'm not even spinning it as much as like a stock Z06 Super or Z06 Corvette. Like I'm not even making stock boost levels. So what I'd love to do is an LT4 accessory drive, but that requires so much work. I got to delete a vacuum pump. I got to relocate an AC compressor, run new AC lines. And it's a lot of work, but if I was able to do that, then I could run a Corvette balancer or a Camaro balancer, and then I could play with pulley sizes and actually
get it all to line up and do more with the bottom.
Yeah. So ultimately, if I ever do anything with the truck, anything more with the truck, that'll be what I end up doing. But that's going to be almost as expensive as just switching to a 2650. So
and then it's like, screw it.
Like if it costs me $2,500 to do a belt drive swap, I could just go to a 6-rib 2650 and make my 700 horsepower,
and it wouldn't even be working hard.
No, and it'd still be a daily driver. It really wouldn't change much from what it is right now. So.
Well, I mean, Holly knows a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who knows? We'll see what I end up doing. I really like my truck the way it is. I mean, every time I drive it, it just puts a smile on my face because you pull up to a gas station or something. And we live in North Iowa. Nobody really does what we do. There's a wild guy up the road here from me that collects Hellcats. He owns a tractor shop here 5 miles from me.
Okay.
And he's got the last time I talked to him, I said, "Hey, I want to race your TRX." He goes, "Which one?"
He's got them in every color.
I was like, how many do you have? He's like, I don't know, 5 or 6 now. I said, why? He's like, they all got different colors. He just collects them because that's it. He figures that's his retirement. He just got a Demon 170. He's got several red eyes, and he's got one every color, every model, every year. I don't know how many he's got, but he's the only other guy around here that does anything like
enough of them.
And when you pull up to a gas station or something, my truck's lowered and sits there and lopes. I get people all the time, man, what you got in that thing?
Right. Nothing.
I don't know. And my license plates say race me, so
Of course they do.
I couldn't believe Iowa let you have it. So
Well, shoot, guys, I'm set. I'm gonna let you guys go do the Santa Claus thing and get to sleep because you're gonna be up early, I'm sure.
oh yeah, we got a 10-year-old.
Yep, and Santa Claus came, so
Yeah.
Of course.
you know. But thank you so much. This has been a super duper cool show. Hour and a half just went by like that before you knew
Yeah.
it, and here we are. And you guys, like I said, you even got work after this.
Oh yeah. We really appreciate you inviting us on. It was a pleasure.
Hell yeah, dude! It was super fun. And Merry
Christmas,
Christmas to everybody. Merry Christmas to you guys. Everyone that's been on here and did jump on here. Thank you guys so much.
Sure.
What a hell of a good year. I am going to take next week off. I was going to hope to do a New Year's Eve show as well, and I think Stevie and I decided we might go out, and I'm not going to do a show.
Yeah, we might be on an impromptu trip to Springfield to go hang out with the Skids for Kids guys.
Yeah,
haven't decided quite yet, but I'm ready to hop in the car and drive 7 hours. So
you may as well. I mean, giddy up. Let's make it happen. But
Let's
yeah, thank you guys so much for coming on, and it was super duper cool. I'm gonna throw you in the background real quick. I'll say goodbye to everybody, and I'll pop you back on, and we'll do a proper good night.
All right.
But thank you guys again. Very, very cool. Man, the ROPS. Bam! How much fun was that? Those dudes are super cool. Like I said, they live the life, burn out cars and drag and drive stuff and bringing their kids around and doing burnouts and partying, and life is good. So it's super cool. Merry Christmas to everybody. You guys are absolutely awesome. I hope your 2024 was amazing. I hope your 2025 is even better. Mine is shaping up to be. Things are doing absolutely awesome for me. So 2025 is hopefully looking like an amazing time. So like I said, you'll see me soon on Sick Week. You will see Alex and Holly at Mega Week at the latest. But guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Episode 61, Christmas Eve on 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, we are done.